Hi, this is Tim of the Watchbox at Dubai Watch Week 2021 with Moritz Grossmann. This might be their magnum opus, the Hamatic Vintage, 41mm in white gold. This particular model with the black dial and the white gold case is a limited edition of 20 pieces. Now, this watch is handsome on the dial side and spectacular on the reverse side. Let's start with the basics. The dial is extensively handcrafted. No fewer than 10 layers of black lacquer and clear coat have been applied and polished by hand on the dial. Now, what sets this watch apart perhaps from every other watch in the industry is that the hands are as thin as razors. We're talking 0.1 millimeter, and it is genuinely astounding that these can even be shaped with such fine tolerances. You have a concentric pattern or azurage for the slightly sunken sub-register for constant seconds, and unlike other Moritz Grossmann watches, this one sets conventionally. It does have stop seconds. The crown pulls out, and then you are able to manipulate the hands. Now, the original version of this dial was perhaps largely due to the logo, which is arc-shaped at the company, a little bit too modern for the way the watch is styled, whereas the Vintage feels very much the perfect match for this watch and character. Now, you can see that the case has a lot of style to it. It's beautifully mirror polished, and then the lugs break out from the case band. And you can see those lugs are slotted right in and welded, so this is very traditional case making. Taking a quick look at the case back, this is caliber 106. This might be the most handsome automatic movement in the world. Let's start with the basics. What appears to be a large steel egg sitting on top of the movement is actually a bumper. It's a hammer winding system, hence the name Hamatic. And you can see underneath, there's a double set of lever arms that act like cams, turning two wheels that energize a mainspring, giving the watch power reserve of 72 hours. Now, you can see an enormous balance of their own manufacture beats away over a set of beautifully frosted bridges and plates. We'll start with the base plate, which is handsomely satin grained, and then we'll work our way up to the bridges above, which have a light, luminous, and incredibly broad set of glasuta stripes. You'll note that there is handsome beveling both on the edge of the bridges and on the edge of the steel components of the winding system, and it's much more challenging to finish steel than it is to finish German silver, and German silver is what the movement's made of. You see they use clear pivot jewels set in chaton, as vintage German timepieces would have, and they also use a lovely fired violet color of screw, which has to be fired relatively quickly and then withdrawn in order to achieve violet rather than simple blue. The watch does have a lovely number of features that require extended viewing to fully appreciate. One of the best features is the depth of field you get when viewing from a diagonal, and you can see that this movement is not just broad and beautiful, but also quite deep and nicely detailed. And you can see there's a lovely gossamer spring that runs down the center that's largely responsible for reflecting the hammer back and forth. You can also see that all of the lettering and all the numerals in the bridges are freehand engraved, so not perfect, but more beautiful for it. And there's a lovely black polished cap atop the barrel, which has a solarization satin across its surface. So lots to love here at Moritz Grossmann. This is the 20-piece limited edition Hamatic Vintage.